759 channel. We're going to get into it shortly. Hopefully you can hear me. We're going to do a test run real quick just to make sure before we begin. Let's make sure we are live. Let's test it. Let's see. Testing 1, 2. Testing 1. Let's make sure we are live. Okay, perfect. All right, we'll keep that up. So as always, we got to thank y'all for being here because you could have been anywhere else on the internet, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. As you can see, I do have on my cheat code to manifestation shirt: vision, patience, passion, focus, action, belief, gratitude, confidence, consistency. We'll get into that shortly. But today I've been planning to do this for a long time, by the way. It's been a while since I've actually done a live stream, but here we are, live from my living room, ironically, as I just moved to a new apartment, a little more space, so I'll get to do a little bit more. And pretty soon I'll probably have this hung up like so, and you'll be able to see it a little better. But without further ado, let's go ahead and get into what we are here to do, which is to go over 759. So what is 759? 759 is a concept that I created, and I developed this concept over time to get a better grasp, a better grip on life. And what do I mean by that? So what I mean is I wanted to basically understand what I needed to do to become the best version of myself. No, I am not there yet. This is an ongoing process that I'll continue until I'm dead, right? But in order to get a hold or a better grip, what you want to do, and I'll bring the camera a little closer, what you want to do is understand what these numbers stand for. So 759, okay? As a matter of fact, I may have to turn it around because now that I'm seeing it, it's a little backwards. LeBron versus Bronny, that's hilarious. So we'll do it like that. What is this channel about? So thank you for asking. This channel is about personal development, and I'm literally about to go over it right now. So when you see 759, we're talking about the 7 key areas of life. That's the 7. The 5 components to SMART goals, and then the 9 components for the cheat code to manifestation. So what are the 7 key areas of life? Mental, physical, spiritual, relational, social, career, and financial. So when you think of the 7 key areas of life, I'm sure you're probably wondering, and I'll take a look. I have my iPad here so I can see what the comments are. Boris the Turtle said, "Bro, we all found this guy. LOL. I love you." Shout out to Boris the Turtle. Shout out to Lamar Dash, and shout out to LeBron versus Bronny. We appreciate y'all. But when you think about these 7 key areas, you're wondering probably like, what does this mean? So mental. You want to feel as relieved as possible when it comes to your mental. You want to be as knowledgeable as possible when it comes to your mental. So, for example, mental could be knowing your blood type, For example, just knowledge, or it could be being able to read Shakespeare. It could be having a clean house. Anything that relates to relieving your mental of stress. Physical, I feel like that one is easy. You know, uh, being able to walk, being able to run, being able to do push-ups. Just being in good physical health. It could be inside and outside. So you could be like, my digestive system is great. Is in good health, I should say. There are so many ways you can look at it, but I just want to point out a few things. Spiritual, uh, your do you meditate? Are you religious? Are you in alignment with your creator if you are religious? If you are not religious, how do you set your goals? How do you feel good? How do you work on your breath work at least? Even if you are an atheist, you can still breathe. You can still do breath work, and that can align with your spirit. So those are some things that go with spirit. Relational. What are your relationships like with people whether it be family, friends, girlfriend, boyfriend, spouse, husband, wife, co-workers, just so forth and so on. What are your relationships like? Social. What do you feel like your purpose is? What do you do? Do you do rallies? Do you do community service? Do you do backpack giveaways? I mean, just anything that has to do with social, whether it's your purpose here on earth, or whether it's just you doing something for others, or whether it's you having fun with others. Just being social. Career, your job, not just your job, but what goals do you have in your job, or what do you want to do, and where do you want to retire from? What type of field would you like to work in? These are all types of things that you can think about when it comes to career. And then lastly, financial. Credit score, how much money you make, how much money you saved up. These are all things that you can think about when it comes to financial. So those are the 7 key areas of life, right? And then what you want to do is set goals in all of these. So your mental, your physical, your spiritual, relational, social, career, and financial. How do you set goals? Well, that's where the 5 comes in. You want to be able to make sure your goal is specific, right? Okay? That's where you start first. Specific. Then you want to be able to measure it. So it has to be measurable. These are the 5 components to SMART goals. So after you know it's specific and measurable, is it attainable? Meaning, do you really believe that you can make this happen? Attainable. Next for SMART is R. So relevant. Is it relevant to your life? And then lastly, time bound. You are not putting a timeline on it. So these are the 5 components to SMART goals. And when I think about SMART goals, let's see this go. Somebody said, hey, Lamar Dash, hey, name. Wish I could join your stream. CPA prep has me busy until September 7th, but I'll be back after. Keep shining. You make a real impact. Lamar, thank you. We really appreciate you. Encouraging words right there. So the 5 components to the SMART goal. So you again, 7, 5, 9, right? The 5, you got specific. You have to be as detailed as possible when you are setting this goal. M, measurable. How can you track that you are on the right path to accomplishing or achieving that goal, right? Attainable. Do you really believe that you can accomplish this goal? Or are you just pissing in the wind, as they say, which is what you don't want to do. You want to ensure that the goal you are setting you actually believe. R is for relevant. Does this goal improve your overall life? Okay. And then lastly, time bound. What is the date that you want to achieve this goal by? You have to have a deadline. That's where time bound comes in. So you set SMART goals into each and every last key area of life. Specific could be I want to read a book. No, let's say you say I want to read a book every month. You break that down. That's very specific. You want to read a book every month, right? And then let's say you want to read a book this month, August, or let's say for September, because this one's already halfway through. But let's say you want to read a book in September. What you can do is divide the amount of chapters in the book by the days in the month. And then that way you can measure it. So you got to read a certain amount of chapters every week in order to complete the entire book. And if you think you believe you can do it, then it is attainable. So that's 3 checked off right there. Relevant. Do you believe that reading this book will improve your knowledge, improve your life, or at least improve the key area that you're in? So this book, will it improve your mental? Will it make you more knowledgeable? Will it help your critical thinking? Will it put you at ease? Will it, these are the things you got to think about when you talk about relevant. So if it's relevant to your life, if it's relevant to your mental, then boom, it checks it off. And then lastly, you already said this because you said you wanted to do it in a month. So if you start at the beginning of September, by the end of September, you'll achieve reading that book. All right, so that's 7, that's the 5. But here's the bonus. If you haven't heard of the cheat code to manifestation, if you have not heard of the cheat code to manifestation, I am so happy that I get to share this with you. So this is also something that I've been working on at least since 2008. When I was in Atlanta, Georgia, a long time ago, doing music producing, I was trying to figure out, one, in the process of being a music producer, how can I become the best music producer I can possibly become? But 2, how can I ensure that industry level artists will listen, not only listen, but will actually use my music? And what I came up with back then was 4 components. Now I have 9, but I have 4. I said vision plus action times focus plus passion equals manifestation. This is 2008, 2009. It's around that time. It was 4 components that equal manifestation at that point in time. But now, as time has progressed and I evolved and I started to have more experiences, I started to read more books. I started to interview more people. I started to gain more mentors. I started to have mentees and, going to school and getting my degrees from associates to bachelors to now masters in industrial organizational psychology. Here are the 9 components for the cheat code to manifestation in order to get what you want out of life. All right, hope you're ready. So the first, we're going to draw a line here to divide this. So you got the 7, the 5, here's the 9. First, vision. And we're going to go through each one just so you are aware of what each component means. Vision. The next is patience. Okay. The next is passion. All right. The next is focus. Next is action. And then belief. All right, so vision, patience, passion, focus, action, belief. There are three more. We're going to get down for this one. Gratitude. All right. Confidence. And lastly, one of the most important ones, consistency. All right, now, to be real, if you are missing one of these, just one, it is more than likely that the goal you set or what you are looking to manifest will not come to fruition. And I'm going to tell you why. I'll go down each one. Vision. What do you need for vision? A lot of things can fall under vision. You think about this, seeing the end goal in mind, first and foremost. But under vision, you can have a strategy, you can have a schedule, you can have a roadmap. There are many things that fall under vision that can help propel you. But if you don't have vision, you won't even have a goal. You don't have a target in mind to even accomplish. So that's first and foremost. You have to have vision. Why do you have to have patience? Because main reason, if you don't have patience, you are likely to give up. You are likely to quit. You are likely to go off on somebody. You're likely to get in trouble. You are likely to do things or put yourself in a position that you don't want to be in. So you got to have patience. Passion. Why do you need passion? Because you hear a lot of people bring up the idea of discipline. You cannot be disciplined in anything if you are not passionate about it or if your life is under threat, obviously. But even then, you are passionate about living, so you're going to do what you want to do. So one of the examples I always use is someone who is looking to, like, let's say you are sick and you were diagnosed with a deadly disease and you have to basically take a certain type of medicine or do a certain type of workout or change your diet in order to live. You are passionate about living. You don't need discipline because you're passionate about living. So under passion, you will do the necessary things that will keep you alive. So in this case, if you don't have passion, you don't have drive, you don't have will, and you won't have discipline. So passion, focus. Focus not only keeps your eye on the ball and keeps your eye on the prize, or your eye on the sparrow, whatever you want to refer to it as. The thing about it is, it also allows you to limit or eliminate distractions. So that's why focus is important. And without focus, you can be passionate, you can be patient, you can have the vision, but you will be distracted, and you won't be able to stay on the ball. So you have to have focus. Next is action, and I feel like this one is very simple. If you're not doing, nothing will happen. You take action to see results, but without action, there are no results. So you have to have action. Belief. You have to have belief that the goal is real. Going back to the 5 components to SMART goals, attainable. Attainable and belief are practically the same thing. But this is for setting goals. This is for ensuring that that you manifest your vision here. So belief is belief that the overall goal that you've set or whatever it is you would like to manifest is possible, not only probable, but inevitable. And I just talked about this on my 759 channel. When was that? Last week, where I talked about ensuring that the goal that you set is not only possible, not only probable, but inevitable, and it has already happened. You are just in the process of trying to catch up to that point in time where it actually manifests. So that is belief. Gratitude, without being grateful for the things that you have in life, it's almost hard to get ahead because you're living in this negative cycle. I don't have, so I have to get. Versus I have this and I want to contribute and add more to what I already have. So when you're starting to try to gain things from a place of lacking, it's almost probable that you won't get more. But when you're grateful and when you express gratitude, you start to receive more things to be grateful for. So without gratitude, you are acting as if you don't have enough. And what I always try to tell people is you yourself are already enough. You're already enough. You already know enough. You already have enough. And you are enough to make whatever it is you want to make possible happen. So you got to have gratitude. Confidence. Now, the difference between belief and confidence, when I'm talking about belief for the cheat code to manifestation, I'm talking about belief in the overall process. But when I'm talking about confidence, I'm talking about confidence within yourself. So, do you feel you are capable? Not that the goal is capable, because you could say, for example, I want to go to the NBA, right? But the thing is, going to the NBA is obviously possible. So do you believe that going to the NBA is possible? Yes. Are you confident that you can make it to the NBA? That is the difference between belief and confidence. So in this case, confidence is within, not without, not in the process. Confident that you are the person for the job. Confident that you will develop the necessary skills to bring this vision to life. Confident that you will be patient. Confident that you are passionate enough. Confident that you will be focused. Confident that you will take action. Confident that you believe in the overall process. Confident that you will continue to display gratitude. But lastly, confident that you will be the last component of the cheat code to manifestation, consistency. Confident that you will be consistent. Okay? And when you are consistent in all 9 components, what you want is basically inevitable. So with that, I did want to share with you what the 759 channel is about. I wanted to go over a brief breakdown. We will go over an actual video soon. I'm going to do a presentational slide on these components. It's going to be more in depth. This was a quick little video that I wanted to do on the live stream, because I will be doing live streams every Monday at 6:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on the 759 channel. It's me, your roadmaps coach, James Ingram. And as always, I got to thank y'all for being here, because you could have been anywhere else on the internet, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. Don't forget to like this video, please. Comment on the video. Let us know if you learned anything or if anything stood out to you. Have you ever heard of any of these things? Probably not, because the cheat code to manifestation I created. 759 I created. I didn't create the 7 key areas of life. I did not create SMART goals, but all of it together as a concept, yes. That's where the 759 comes in. I'm always happy to talk about it. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. roadmapscoach@gmail.com. Again, roadmapscoach@gmail.com. And that's pretty much it. So again, as always, we got to thank you for being here, because you could have been anywhere else on the internet, but you're here with me, and I appreciate that. Beautiful people, thank you for coming through. As always, until next time, peace out.